So, welcome to Singapore.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us a little bit about your main goals and objectives for coming to Singapore and particularly from this week?
Yeah, so actually this is the first time that Alephium participates in Token 2049 and goes to Singapore. For us, what was important is to kind of meet in person some of our partners, ongoing discussions also that we have, because kind of in a digital world and digital industry, meeting people in person kind of really helps unlock certain discussion projects and things like this. So it's been very successful, honestly, for us, those 2 short days.
Fantastic. You've been at several panels and you've given some talks, right? So what are the key takeaways of those conversations and talks you've had that you can share with us for those who couldn't attend, of course?
So from the side event that I attended and the event that I was part of, I could see a lot of discussion around, we've seen a lot of fragmentation into the industry, fragmentation of liquidity, fragmentation of user experience, and how can we bring this all back together and really, so that was a big topic. Also about, I think Vitalik's speech yesterday, also a lot of people talked about it, but one of the key points he said that we are no longer early to crypto, but we are early to crypto being usable. And I think user experience, developer experience has also been a very big topic.
So let's talk about Alephium. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yes, that's
okay,
perfect.
Perfect. I'm nailing all the pronunciations.
Yeah,
today,
so
right?
far you've been 10 out of 10.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey into the crypto world and what ultimately led you to joining Alephium?
Yeah, so I discovered crypto in 2017, December 2017, when I joined a Swiss crypto exchange. So my first experience into crypto was a bit painful because I joined right when Bitcoin hit 20,000 for the first time and when the scalability challenges of the industry were first intensely felt with the crypto kitty on Ethereum. And so that was kind of my baptism by fire to joining into the crypto ecosystem. I spent a few years into that exchange, and then I had worked previously in a different industry with some of the core contributors of Alephium. And when I went to check out what they were doing, it turns out they needed someone that was not a dev to take care about everything that was not development related. And this is what I do at Alephium, and that's kind of how I joined in the middle of 2021, just a little bit before Alephium mainnet launch.
Awesome. And what is your current role at Alephium, actually?
You could say I'm the COO. I'm basically in charge of everything that is not development related or marketing. So I really work on ecosystem development, developer relationship, and then all of the boring admin, legal, and administrative things that go around that also you have to deal with in a project.
How big is the team, actually?
It's pretty small, so we really want to keep the core team quite lean. So we have 15 people. A few people are not full-time, so we will be around 10 to 12 full-time equivalent in the core contributor. But this is kind of an intentional design because one, it allows us to be very lean, and we've been able to actually deliver pretty fast quality work, but also it's a path to ensuring that we really decentralize in the long term kind of the ecosystem. We really want to empower the ecosystem to shape what Alephium will become, because at the end of the day, we are building for people to use what we do, and it's important that the people who use Alephium also feel empowered to evolve it further.
So for those who are unfamiliar with Alephium, can you please introduce the platform, what it is, and explain what makes it unique in the blockchain space?
Yeah, I think so. I will go a little bit to kind of what drove the creation of Alephium. Is a little bit like the founder, Cheng. He wasn't super happy with the direction that Ethereum was taking when it came to the sharding roadmap, and he first focused into proposing a better scalability solution, but it was also around 2017 with the advent of DeFi, and he realized that with most of the industry going in the direction of account-based proof-of-stake kind of realm, technology family, there was a big gap and not really an alternative to this. And this is kind of what he wanted to bring with Alephium, a true alternative, resilient and sustainable infrastructure for decentralized application smart contracts and asset and tokens. And we've made the choice of building a little bit on the counter of what the industry trend was at the time. So we are in the big family of UTXO and proof of work, but we have really 3 big innovations. On the scalability side, we are a sharded chain, but because we do this on the UTXO model, we can do it in a much more user experience friendly. So no matter how and where you're transacting on Alephium, it's always on a single step, always on chain. You never have to do cross-chain transaction, which is a great increase in user experience when it comes to sharded network. And that allows us to natively scale up to 10,000 TPS on the layer 1 while actually being a proof of work chain. And that kind of takes me to one of the other innovation, which is called proof of less work. So we do believe in proof of work being the more robust consensus when it is when you want to ensure decentralization. But the founder really wanted to see, can we optimize it? Can we make it more energy efficient? And that's basically what proof of less work is. It reduces the energy consumption of the network by 87% at large scale without reducing security by using kind of to be brief, basically we are classic proof of work up until a certain point, and past that point, it's kind of a mix of proof of work and proof of burn, so of physical and digital security. So you have to burn coin up front, in addition to providing computing power to be able to mine a new block.
Interesting. I like that spin on proof of
work.
Proof of less work. Yeah.
Yeah. We actually have, I think, one of our biggest. So those are kind of the one people understand quickly. I feel like the biggest one is also our development environment. So we have a model called the stateful UTXO. Which means our smart contract have state, they are fully programmable, so you have kind of the flexibility and expressivity of smart contract like people are used to on the account model, but you retain the security for asset of the UTXO model. So it's faster, easier to write secure smart contract. We completely eliminate a lot of the attack vector that plague DeFi specifically, but also other area. For example, reentrancy attack are not possible on Alephium by design. We also made it that flash loan are not possible, even though they are not necessarily malicious, but they haven't always been used for good. Also resolve kind of this pre-approval mechanism as well. So that's the part I'm the most excited about, because I think people really underestimate how challenging it still is to for even experienced user to navigate the space safely, whether you're a user or a developer.
In terms of ecosystem growth, what areas or sectors within Alephium are seeing the most activity and engagement?
I want to say DeFi right now. I feel it's a little bit natural because also if you look in the space, DeFi and kind of anything linked to finance to some extent is where you see the most lasting adoption. So this was kind of the first primitive that you kind of see developed into the ecosystem. So this is also true for us. We're also seeing a little bit of gaming, obviously NFT, a little bit of, I don't know what is the right way to describe this, like a few small DeFi gambling games, Launchpad, of course. So we have a little bit of everything, but I would say DeFi would be the primary, what came first.
Interesting. How does Alephium position itself within the DeFi space, and what makes it particularly suited for DeFi applications?
I want to say security. There's two things, security, but also the ease to get that security. So again, the UTXO model inherently brings a lot of security when it comes to asset management, because tokens, in our case, and it's the case for most UTXO chain that supports tokens are first-class citizen, which means it sounds weird because we're in a digital world, but they actually exist on chain. They are not a field into a smart contract. So once a token, even if it's been issued by a smart contract, is in your wallet, even if the smart contract disappears, the asset stays there because they are what you call first-class citizen. It also makes it a lot easier to develop because at the protocol level, all assets are treated equally, whether it is the native coin, Aleph, or Alephium, if you do the full name, or any token that has been issued. Again, we talked about this before, reentrancy attack, like kind of this very cumbersome pre-approval step that you have on EVM chain, where you have to pre-approve and often a limited amount to interact with a smart contract. We completely got rid of that to really facilitate the experience of both developers and users.
Looking back, can you share the history of DeFi on Alephium, and how has the platform evolved over time? What milestones have been achieved?
Yeah, so Alephium supported smart contract from day one, from the first day of mainnet launch, but obviously the environment around this wasn't as developed as it was today. So a first big chunk of work was really working on the SDK, which makes it a lot easier for builders to come and interact with the chain. We've made a lot of improvement as well to the virtual machine, and that kind of culminated into a first network upgrade that we had in March 2023. And actually after that, the beginning of the Alephium ecosystem came. The first DApp actually launched was a DEX in summer 2023, and from there it was kind of a snowball effect. We obviously had NFT marketplace, Launchpad, so many. Honestly, it's difficult to keep track of everything. Now we are having like 3-4 more DEX, 2 more NFT marketplace. But that was the beginning. One other key milestone was when we released a bridge. So we made a bridge from Alephium to Ethereum and from Ethereum to Alephium. And that allowed us to bring some of the major stablecoin into our ecosystem pretty early on. So USDT, USDC, basically any asset that lives on Ethereum can be bridged over to Alephium and vice versa. And that really helped boost the current ecosystem, and that was really the start in a very big growth of our TVL, because we right now have the second largest TVL of all proof of work chain after Bitcoin, which is pretty nice. And our bridge actually itself is not doing too bad. I think we're the 30th largest bridge in TVL, even though it's a bridge just to Alephium, so it's pretty nice. We had also a first hackathon in February where we had over 100 people participate, project really coming from a lot of different ecosystem, and really kind of demonstrating and confirming to us that it was actually pretty easy to pick up the Alephium tech, even though we have our own smart contract language, our own virtual machine. But it's been designed to be easy to be learned by someone new, and the hackathon really helped us confirm that. And the hackathon actually tripled the number of projects that existed at Alephium at the time. And from then again, it continued to really grow. One other key milestone was the arrival of Oracle. We are a non-EVM chain, so getting a lot of those services onto Alephium are a little bit more challenging. But we have the first Oracle that was launched, I think, around a month ago, and that will really kind of fit into a second wave for our ecosystem. Like obviously, especially in DeFi, the classic like lending, over-collateralized stablecoin, perpetual DEX, and obviously many others as well.
Fantastic. With DeFi continuing to grow, what are some of the upcoming projects and developments in Alephium's ecosystem that you're most excited about?
I mean, honestly, there are so many things. I think one of an over-collateralized stablecoin with lending, kind of similar to MakerDAO, but with also some of its own trick that is coming, that people are very looking forward to. We also had like some pretty interesting like peer-to-peer protocol leveraging the UTXO model to really have trustless peer-to-peer protocol when it comes either to classic OTC transaction, but also peer-to-peer lending. There's a few RWA project coming as well, some of them linked to mining that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. We are actually going to expand our bridge to other chain. So with this will come some stable swap related development and primitive as well. So yeah, that's a lot of things.
We've heard about ASICs being used in the Alephium ecosystem. Can you describe to our audience what ASICs is?
Yeah.
And also following that up, why they're important to Alephium's ecosystem?
Yeah, so Alephium being a proof of work chain means that new blocks are being mined and validated proposed by miners. And so usually a chain starts to be GPU compatible. So pretty much everyone on their computer has a GPU and to some extent can contribute to a network and mine to a network. And usually if you are ASIC friendly, the history of evolution is like you'll have GPU, which is multi-purpose hardware that you can use for many things, but you can use it to mine. And this is non-specific. You can mine pretty much any coin that is GPU mining. So you could mine Alephium, very long time ago, you could mine Bitcoin, and you can use it for many different things. Then you have a first step of specialization, like FPGA, that are programmable, a little bit more specialized, and then you have the highly specialized chip, which are ASICs. So this is hardware that is very specifically and optimized to mine a specific mining algorithm. And in our case, we use Blake 3. So dedicated ASIC had to be built for Alephium. And so it's important for different things. ASICs are usually extremely powerful, so it helps increase the hash rate of your network, and therefore, to some extent, increase the security, because the higher the hash rate, the more computing power you need to potentially do a 51 attack or things like this. It's also, because it's specialized hardware, it makes the miner more faithful to your chain, because they are investing into a hardware that is specific to your chain. It's not like they can unplug it and plug it somewhere else. So it gives you a little bit more sustainability into your hash rate, basically. And I think the last point is also, it's an extremely strong show of faith from the mining industry, because developing a specific ASICs takes a lot of time and resources from the manufacturer perspective. So they usually do this if they believe in the ecosystem. And they believe this is going to be profitable for them. And so we had Bitmain, which is the largest ASIC manufacturer, that announced their ASICs, and now they are plugged on chain now. This summer, we also had actually Gold Shell. They do home miners, so smaller miners that people can run at home. Was the first one to release in April. We also have Ice River that also launched their ASICs, and there are a number of other ones also coming as well. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Excited to learn more about ASICs. And how can someone get involved in ASIC mining on the platform, actually?
So ASIC mining is a little bit, again, there's kind of two types. You have ASIC miner that are what you call home miners. So you can plug them on normal electricity circuits, and they are very powerful. Usually they're more accessible when it comes to pricing, and you can plug them at home. But usually they come into a network that also has, I call them industrial ASICs. I don't know if it is the actual right term, but we're talking about ASICs that you can't plug on a plug at home. You need like proper, much higher, like bigger plugs, basically, that you have to plug
like
them.
Industrial level or something.
Yeah, infrastructure. It's also extremely loud, like the cooling fan are extremely loud, so it's not really something you can plug at home. Usually a lot more powerful, and this is like professional mining. Like it's a whole business to try and find the cheapest electricity, more stable place to plug them. So it's actually a whole industry, which is fascinating, by the way, but it's a whole other topic. But to make, home miner accessible to all, but in terms of power and percentage of hash rate in the network, it's much lower than the industrial one that do require a little bit of specialized knowledge. But you have intermediary firm that can help you once you have your miner, plug it in the right place, in the right farm. And also one of the projects that I was talking about, like in RWA, is actually a tokenization of miners or mining farms, so that people who don't want to buy a miner but still want to be part of the mining infrastructure can kind of buy a token that would be a tokenized portion of a mining farm and earn obviously a portion of the coin that are being mined as well.
Interesting. Doesn't it make it difficult for people to participate in the network if it's like highly specialized and expensive? I
mean, so the industrial one definitely are more on the expensive side. The home miner honestly are similar to the price of a powerful GPU. Obviously, the hash rate of the network is quite high, so you have to look. The main factor in the mining industry is always the cost of electricity. So it really depends. If you're in a country where the cost of electricity is extremely high, definitely. If the cost of electricity is not that high where you are, a home miner will be pretty good for you anyway. And again, in a country where the electricity is pretty high, industrial miner is complicated. But this is why we're looking at, because we have native DeFi on Alephium, kind of making this bridge between DeFi and mining to really add more opportunities, both from the user perspective to participate into the mining side, but also for miners to participate into the ecosystem. Because again, in the proof of work side, you don't really have that much smart contract enabled chain. So all of the DeFi and additional yield usually happen on another chain, whereas on Alephium, this is something that you can do natively and hopefully have a kind of a more virtuous cycle between the different participants of the ecosystem.
Can you share any top level metrics for the platform? Like daily active users, TVL?
Of course. So our TVL increased by 2,000% actually since the beginning of the year. We have the second largest TVL of all proof of work chain after Bitcoin. We have over 200,000 active addresses. In our native wallets, we have, I think, around 75,000 download between the desktop wallet, mobile wallet, extension wallet, and that doesn't count, obviously, exchange wallet, third-party wallet, and node wallet as well that people are using. I'm trying to think of another really nice metrics to tell you, but we also have a pretty big increase on the number of projects really that are deploying on chain every time as time passes.
What is the long-term vision for Alephium, and where do you see the platform heading in the coming years?
Yeah, I mean, a first step for us, I know it's not the long term, but I'll start with the middle term, is really to bring a lot of services like, hardware wallet, fiat on ramp. That's what we are working on right now to really bring the foundation. But honestly, we really want to drive innovation in this area of the industry. We want to see also more DeFi, but generally speaking, decentralized application leveraging the UTXO model, because today there hasn't been done much, or at least not in a way that was convenient enough to be fully explored. And I think in terms of security, but also from user experience, there's a lot of things that can be leveraged. You can really have trustless atomic swap between multiple users, multiple assets, and you can really use this to enhance your user experience, but also build completely new products. So I'm quite excited to see this coming. Hopefully, we will have contributed to that. And I really hope that Alephium can be one of those chains that really push the industry forward by providing different solutions than what you see. I think this is one of our biggest value in an industry where you see a lot of chains that are very, very similar, and where the value proposition is mainly into the amount of funding they are able to dedicate into their ecosystem, but they don't bring much innovation into the space. It's nice. Or they are all innovating in the same direction. Alephium really stands out on that front, and I hope that we kickstart something and continue to push this forward as time passes.
For those who are new to Alephium, what's the best way for users to get started on the platform? Are there specific resources, tools, or guidelines to help them explore?
So, I mean, obviously, as many projects, the website is a good place to start for you to get kind of a wallet. My favorite ones are the desktop and the mobile wallets, but we also have extension wallet. And again, very soon, as in very, very soon, we'll have actually 5 hardware wallets that will support Alephium. So that's also an option for you. I think we have a page called Alfland that kind of summarizes all of the dApp services that are available on Alephium. So it's a good place once you have your wallet to kind of explore a little bit what you can do. If you are a little bit more technical and you want to dive in, I think our docs, which you can access from the website, are also quite interesting, because if you're a bit technical, I think code doesn't lie, and that's always where you can see what a project is made of. So everything is open source on Alephium, so we welcome feedback contribution as well.
And can you share which 5 hardware wallets they will be?
I mean, I can say Ledger, because that one has been, we've applied, the review process has gone very well, and hopefully we should be able to go to the next step very soon. And then the other one, not really yet, but they are some of the, at least out of the 4 others, a lot of them are kind of the main one that people usually are looking for. So
perfect. And finally, is there anything else you'd like to share about Alephium's journey, vision that we haven't covered in this conversation? Any final words you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say a big thank you to the Alephium community, because I think at the end of the day, we are building for people, and the people that came to the Alephium ecosystem are already actively contributing to how we evolve the protocol. We really took a step-by-step approach, and we really rely on user feedback to continue the development of the chain. So it's very important for us to hear how people are using our chain and how they want it to grow. And that we're just getting started and that there's a lot more amazing things to come on Alephium.
Fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to Alephium's journey. And it was great to chat with you. Thank you so much for making the time.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.